It's really come to talking about Star Fox Guard, hasn't it?
This is a tower defense game set in the world of Star Fox. You help Slippy's uncle Grippy defend his mining stations from invading robots. You use the gamepad to swap between different cameras to shoot down the robots, and the TV helps display what's going on. The game works incredibly well for the Wii U, and offers a good challenge despite getting too overboard at times. And in fairness, you could say that about any tower defense game. But Star Fox? Why that of all franchises? Zelda, Metroid, and even Animal Crossing would have made more sense. Can't wait for F-Zero Texas Hold'em. But putting these aside, it's actually quite good, and even has a free demo so you can judge the game for yourself. It is preserved on some first editions of Star Fox Zero, and over in Europe, darny darn! But while you're at it, pick up the Star Fox Zero demo as well, where some fans watching could see why they might want to avoid this game, like discussing politics at the family dinner table, and even has that animated short from the same studios that made Ghost in the Shell and Attack on Titan. Remember that?
Now that we're in 5 videos of talking about 3DS and Wii U eShop games, I think some viewers right now may be thinking,
Where's Rusty's Real Deal Baseball?
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 Where's Rusty's Real Deal Baseball? Oh, wow. But because of how niche the sport is in this part of the world, Rusty's Real Deal Baseball was never released in Europe, and that's a shame. Though I am more than happy to talk about Steel Diver Subwars.
Now, the original Steel Diver is a game I don't really have any strong opinions on, and a lot of that mentality can be carried over to this game. You control a submarine rather going through rings from point A to B, taking out enemy ships. We'll get to that. It controls decently with most of your commands on the touchscreen. Makes you think it would have made more sense to be on the original DS. Unlike the original retail game, it's free to play and has a bunch of submarines and levels behind a paywall. But don't worry when it closes, because I found the perfect alternative instead. Not bad, it does the job, and you could do with worse free-to-play games. SpeedThru Potzol's Puzzle, an early 3DS eShop game, and one that is quite fun. In this follow-up to the WiiWare game, you play as Tetris rejects and go through holes as fast as possible, like that old game show. The game gives a good challenge, making you use fast reflexes, but is not too fast, relying on trial and error. And the Aztec theming of the game helps give it more personality and identity. There's also a good amount of levels too for a 539 game, and fits the pick up and play aesthetic of the 3DS perfectly. So with that, Potzol's Puzzle is a strong personal recommendation. Donkey Kong Jr. Math. You may already be asking, Ed, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke? No. This was actually sold on store shelves in the 80s. As the title suggests, this is an edutainment game with the mechanics of Donkey Kong Jr., and you solve basic math problems. Add, subtract, multiply, and divide. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. You have 2 modes where you play against a rival DK Jr. to get to the displayed answer first, and one where you solve problems on your own. This game is a sick joke, and I honestly feel sorry for every 80s kid who got this under the Christmas tree. And even as someone who passed their GCSEs and thinks about math in the back of their head, the game still manages to make me feel stupid. And to add more salt to the wound, this is a rare game! Yes! It's cheaper to get an actual education! Well, at least Nintendo learned their lesson with the brain training games. So bottom line, screw this game! Donkey Kong Jr. Math, what's next? King Kong Spanish class? Donkey Kong Original Edition, another unique virtual console release. Like, check out the home menu title screen. This is basically the NES port of the original Donkey Kong, but for this release has the Cup Pie Factory level. It's pretty cool seeing this level squished down to a 4:3 aspect ratio. It was released back on Wii, hence the 2010 copyright, and isn't on Wii U for some reason. But the novelty has kind of worn off as the Game Boy version has the exact same level among more content, and the original arcade game is on Switch. It is preserved on some of those red Wiis over in PAL territories. Otherwise, this port is more interesting rather than necessary.
I spent $4.49 on a pie level!
3D Classics Kid Icarus, another installment to Eureka's short-lived series, and this version of the game has some pretty cool additions. This version is more based off the Famicom Disk System release with proper save slots, slightly different music, and even has new control styles to make things easier for newcomers, but does have the original controls as well. As to make the 3D effect work, they added in backgrounds, which not only make the 3D effect more convincing, it also subtly tells the story of the game as they get brighter per level to represent Pit climbing up to heaven from the underworld. This is the best version of Kid Icarus, and its enhancements make me wish that Mario 3 had this treatment with its PlayStation aesthetic, and Metroid with proper backgrounds. But then again, that's what Metroid Zero Mission is for. A remake of the first Metroid. While the original can still be seen as a classic, I think even die-hard fans will agree it hasn't exactly stood the test of time. And without a guide, you feel like a rat lost in a maze. But the remake fixes everything with more vivid environments, a map at all times, useful hints, better controls, and more story to the game. You even unlock the NES original after beating it if you're that morbidly curious. This is how you do a remake. You'll want to pick this up as well as the other Metroid games, as they've been going up in price lately due to hype surrounding Dread and Metroid Prime 4. When that finally comes out... Persona Q Shadow of the Labyrinth. This spin-off title crosses the worlds between Persona 3 and 4 and has the gameplay mechanics to that of the Etrian Odyssey games, where you explore a labyrinth in a first-person perspective whilst drawing a map on the bottom screen. It's quite addictive and satisfying when completing a map, and makes dungeon exploring that more interesting, alongside unique battle mechanics when fighting enemies, and throughout it all has the charisma and style the Persona games are known for. This will not disappoint fans, and now is a better time than ever seeing that the mainline Persona games are finally coming to Nintendo consoles, and since it's made by Atlus, physical releases will cost an arm and a leg. You may also want to pick up the sequel 2. It released when everyone stopped playing the 3DS, you can see where I'm going with this, and apparently the plot's more complex than quantum physics, so I'll wait for a digital sale or something. But for now, definitely pick up the original at the very least. Plus, Ben 10's in it. Shin Megami Tensei 4, the fourth main installment of the JRPG franchise Persona spun off from. This has you as a samurai in an eastern kingdom called Mikado, and also takes place in a post-apocalyptic Tokyo. In the game, you roam through dungeons and face off against demons. You can even have them join your team if you successfully convince them to do so. This has a lot of depth and makes you think carefully about what you should say, unlike throwing a ball in Pokemon. You can also fuse the demons you collected. The battle mechanics have a good amount of depth, looks great on 3DS, and has some kicking music. It is preserved physically in North America and Japan, and though it's on the eShop here, Shin Megami Tensei 4 was never released physically in Europe. And that's because David Cameron hated RPGs, as he can never beat Cerebus in Kingdom Hearts, leaving him to telling the devs that Atlas to screw off. Don't bother! But even if it did, it would be expensive in classic Atlas fashion. But don't confuse this for Apocalypse like I did. Now, it's not a definitive edition. It's more like SMT4... 2. Imagine it like those Final Fantasy sequels. So this game is one of the best JRPGs on the system, and probably the biggest game to nap on the eShop, at least over here in Europe. But on the exact opposite spectrum, Picross 3D Round 2, which did get a physical release here in Europe, but not in North America. This is a really charming puzzle game in the veins of Picross, which I covered previously, but this time is in 3D, and you work in a toy shop cafe. The dimension shift helps make the gameplay a lot more interesting, and give you a good challenge, especially if you want to get the best scores possible. The music is great, and even takes advantage of Amiibo quite well by them giving you puzzles of those characters. This is a great laid-back game, and one of the most underrated on the 3DS in my opinion. So American viewers watching might want to pick this up. And I swear that's the last Picross game I'll talk about. And you'll definitely want to pick up our next game, Rhythm Paradise Megamix. While it has a physical in Europe, that's been going up in price. This is essentially your all-in-one Rhythm Paradise experience, with stages from each installment, whether GBA, DS, Wii, and even new ones. You help Tibby here return up to the skies as you progress through a crash course of the series' history. This game has a lot of charm in Rhythm Paradise tradition, and the gameplay is really easy to pick up, yet difficult to truly master. The songs for each stage are a delight to listen to. It's great variety with the concept, alongside plenty of more things to do outside the main gameplay thanks to the cafe. So in short, Pick this game up, it will please Rhythm Paradise fans old and new, you won't regret it. Cave Story. Now back in the day, this was considered to be one of the first indie darlings to hit it big, and I can see why. The pixel art style looks great, the characters are compelling, fun side-scrolling gameplay, and a lot of charm overall. On 3DS, this is probably my way to play Cave Story, with widescreen support, a jukebox, and having a decent price at £6. There are multiple versions of this game on 3DS too, with the DSi port and a 3D remake, though the latter's been going up in price and looks like it was remade by Disney. But this is Cave Story we're talking about, as that's been constantly ported to other consoles since, including the Switch. This game used to be freeware, by the way. Another installment to Level 5's Guild series, Attack of the Friday Monsters: A Tokyo Tale, being developed by Millennium Kitchen and is a part of their signature summer vacation games, where here, you control a young boy named Soda who lives in a small Tokyo town in the 70s, where monsters and superheroes tend to fight each Friday for a TV show. You explore the town and collect glims to get new cards for a car battle game to play with against other residents. The game is nice and laid back, is one of the best looking games on 3DS, and makes you feel like a kid again. It even feels like you're controlling a Studio Ghibli movie throughout. This is definitely one of the essentials, and has been selling well in the eShop lately. Hopefully this gets ported to other consoles.
Now our next game is a little sci-fi shooter called RTO Reptile Takeover, which happens to be made by the same devs behind, oh no. Let's not judge anything by its cover unless it's that. But then again, these guys couldn't get basic geometry right. So excited! You do not disappoint.
Okay, so you're playing a first-person perspective on a spaceship and swap between multiple crew members to survive from reptiles like an alien. The reptiles are complete wimps. They are never a challenge to take down. If anything, I feel more sorry for them than terrified. But the map system, good lord, the map system! You slowly strafe left and right, and it's never clear where you've gone, and you think the gamepad would be the perfect place to add a map.
It still doesn't help.
When you're out and about, it just has a dumb JPEG of the character you play as. They are indistinguishable from each other, just like every room you go into! Could it have killed him to add in a tracking system? And you want to know how much this unclear drag costs? Hang on a second, that's the discounted price. There we go. £8! This static, unintimidating slideshow will cost you more money than these. If you always want to aimlessly wander up and down a lifeless and empty corridor, just do it in real life instead, it's free. Alright, let's see what happens when I let one of my crewmates get captured.
Alright, that's enough of this. I'd rather get swallowed and digested by an alien than play another second of this game. At least then the pain wouldn't last as long. Surely our next game, iStation Z, can't be any worse, right? I am so sorry, RTO.
So this is a zombie survival game in the lines of The Thing, and it doesn't cost too much and has a demo too. Like, there's no point if it's that cheap. Come on, I bought these. But when you do play it, the demo's existence is fully justified. This is one of the emptiest video games I ever played. I get that's the whole point, but at least give me a zombie every here and there. I take that back. You run really slow and it takes an eternity to get to a nearby town. There's also a crouch button too, as if the game wasn't slow enough! But when you do get there, there's barely anything to do aside horrible minigames, and I couldn't even make a weapon to fight on the zombies with. On top of that, can I say that this game just looks beautiful? With how slow this game is, it makes me think. I could be learning a new foreign language, find the cure for a disease, catch up with some of the most acclaimed films in cinema, binge watch One Piece for all I care. But no, I'm playing iStation Z. You know the new Super Luigi U expansion for New Super Mario Bros. U? That thankfully got its own retail release, and since has been bundled with the original game both on Wii U and Switch. But the Coin Rush packs for New Super Mario Bros. 2 aren't so lucky. These give you additional courses for the Coin Rush mode to help rack up coins that never amounted to anything. And the levels themselves are a lot more interesting than those seen in the base game, with just collecting coins, tributes to the older games, and interrogation methods. Though New Super Mario Bros. 2 was far from the best 2D Mario, these courses at least made this game more worthwhile. Remember when video game console menus had personality? Back around 2014, Nintendo updated the 3DS where you could download themes of your own and had some neat spruce-ups. There are a lot too, and these are just mostly my personal picks. This cool Game & Watch theme which celebrates this aspect of Nintendo history with the buzzing sounds too, the Mario Odyssey theme with Jump Up Superstar playing throughout and that song will never not slap, some of the Animal Crossing themes, some Zelda ones, Metroid, Splatoon, NES, Smash, Kirby, Sonic, Ice Station Z has one, some neat My Nintendo ones with banger menu music and the Sega console themes too. You could even earn some for playing Nintendo Badge Arcade. I spent £1.80 on Nintendo Badge Arcade in 2022 for this. And there are some that were delisted, like some Disney ones, anime ones that never left Japan, Club Nintendo exclusive ones. Japan has an Evangelion theme?!
I don't know how to end this video. I really don't. Should I just let the editor splice in a random clip or something? Because, to be honest with you, I think I kind of ran out of ideas. Who's up for Cats and Dogs 2? Hey everybody, and well, it's that time of year again. Christmas is around the corner, the temperature is freezing beyond belief, it's now snowing in one way or another, and consumerism reigns supreme. Now throughout this year, this channel has garnered a significant increase in popularity, both in terms of views and subscribers, and I cannot be more grateful for viewers like you. With these 3 videos in particular being the most popular my videos have ever been, and the latter 2 were filler videos. Not to mention my rotoscoping skills have become more refined, I got a greater grasp at editing software, went outside the house more, and I finally got those Animal Crossing RV amiibo cards! Now for next year, I got a good amount of content to keep you filled up. And yes, the eShop saga will continue until the 3DS and Wii U eShop closes in March. But aside that, the new year looks promising as always, with Tears of the Kingdom on the way, the Owl House coming back, more new Mario Kart tracks, seeing how Marvel's latest shows and movies will suck out all my spare time energy. Wait a minute, aren't they considering delaying most of them? And optimistically hyping the new Mario movie. But aside that, happy holidays, let's look forward to a promising 2023, and thanks for watching my content throughout 2022. But there is one more thing I'd like to show you. Please take a look.